every practice needs a healthy flow of new patients coming in. If your team in office is too busy and they constantly have someone in front of them, they're not answering the phones. And so having that virtual team member who can almost always pick up that phone to capture a new patient, to collect a payment, financially, that is huge. My name is Julia Dent, and my title is an executive coach, managing partner for Fortune Management. I've been doing this now for the last 7 years. 3 clients are currently using Swiss Monkey. Hiring is difficult. And budget is on the other side of hiring for a lot of the doctors. Swiss Monkey has helped a lot of my doctors bring on a team member where maybe it wasn't quite in the budget. I'm in California, so things are more expensive, but they've got team members now coming from Texas, and so cost is a little less over there, cost of living. I would say it's been masterful for my offices who are like, we're so busy, we need someone, and we feel like we're not quite ready to hire a full-time person. And they're right. I have one office that actually needed to hire someone, but a virtual person is a much better fit than an in-person person. So they were $3.5 million in production last year. They're on track to do 4.1 this year. They have 3 people in person up front. One of the biggest things that they were saying over and over to their doctor was, we want to make sure that we're treating and connecting with the people who are in front of us, and the phone rings all day long. We want to make sure that we're meeting expectations, we're not losing patients. Enter the conversation with Swiss Monkeys. They have a team member who is first on phones at all times. She's great at enrolling new patients, and she does any intake and then directs the patient where they need to go. A couple of my smaller offices that have Swiss Monkey team members, one is a really boutique office. They have general dentistry and they have sleep medicine. They have one full-time front office for the general side, one full-time front office for the sleep side. Their team member supports both. She's kind of part-time on one side, part-time on the other. That was a pinch that they had felt for a long time, not knowing, do we have enough here for a full-time team member? Yet you're hearing from both team members, I'm feeling overwhelmed. I'm not feeling like I'm completing enough of my tasks regularly. Enter that virtual team member who has taken a lot of the administrative behind the scenes work, like sending claims, doing any kind of due diligence on the medical billing side to get all of the insurance information so those claims can be processed. And third office, I wouldn't quite describe her as a startup, but newer doctor. She just bought the practice. With that comes some transitioning of the team. She did have her front office team member move on. She was older and she was retiring. The beautiful thing in this office is this doctor has 2 great team members, an assistant and a hygienist, who are like, no, doc, we got you. We'll step up. We'll support the front. But they don't know what they don't know about the front. Even though they're like, yes, we will help however we can, she recognized she needed someone that had more expertise. But because she's a startup or just bought the practice, obviously really feeling the pinch on the budget side. Virtual team member came with great experience, which has been phenomenal support on sending out statements, helping get that money come in, and didn't make her payroll budget. So 3 very different offices, and in all 3 scenarios, we have had really great reviews of the Swiss Monkey team member. These team members show up in the morning huddles. They're virtual, but they are being treated as part of the team, and they're showing up as part of the team. It's not this random person that helps sometimes answer the phones or sometimes will do claims for us. The thing that I really appreciate about Swiss Monkey team members is that they are coming like they're part of the team, where I've seen with other companies in the past, there's not that same connection. They're seen as a vendor or they're seen as somebody out there. It's been very cool to watch my teams embrace these team members and really have them become a part of their team. A couple of the offices, they show up when I'm there at the team meeting. They're still virtual, but they're telling us what they're struggling with, getting coaching. I have known Swiss Monkey for quite a while. I've been introducing Swiss Monkey probably for the last 5 to 6 years. I rave about them for a few reasons. Number one of the things that's really important to Fortune is that whoever we introduce our clients to, they have a similar mindset around what we're doing for our doctors is constantly bringing value and showing them ways that they can grow traditionally and non-traditionally, helping them open up their mindset to it may not look the same as it once did. Swiss Monkey is very much in alignment with what Fortune coaches and who Fortune is as a company. I'm also passionate about it because I really feel like they have found a way to do this well and better than the others out there. They're doing a great job of really vetting these people and creating a true talent pool. Sometimes that's a really shallow pond. Swiss Monkey's done a good job of curating their talent pool and really having someone for everyone, which is important. We don't want to just keep playing the same card. We have to get creative. The other thing is these team members aren't just out there. They're really becoming a part of the team. And so much of what we coach on at Fortune is culture. So when you bring in virtual team member, like they need to be a positive part of that culture. The communication internally between the coaches and whoever we're working with on the Swiss Monkey team, that has been phenomenal. At the leadership level, that's been really, really helpful, that open line of communication for when things are going really well to give great feedback. Also, when our doctors are struggling, if there's something that they can't wrap their hands around. I love Swiss Monkey. It's one of the first calls I make when my teams are like, we need a front office team member. We haven't been able to find someone of good quality, or they're not sure budget-wise what works. And so it really does fit a need for a lot of our doctors. 2 clients before we brought Swiss Monkey in, they previously had a virtual team member and it did not work. It's practice that's 3.5 million on track to do 4.1. They had a virtual team member from another company. This virtual team member was doing billing for them and really difficult to communicate with. She is not in state, so her hours were very different from the practice hours. If you're doing the billing, you don't necessarily have to be there when the patients are there. And yet, when there is an upset with that money, they want to talk to the person that's handling it. This other virtual team member was not responsive, did not want to talk to patients, wasn't working at the time the practice was open. That doesn't fit the culture. That practice is incredibly high touch, customer service driven. The patient in front of you is the most important patient, very relationship driven. A team member that doesn't fit those core values or isn't in alignment with that, it's really difficult. It holds back your growth. That's an example of a broken system. You want a virtual team member that works the same hours that you do, that gets on the phones, that's willing to have conversations with patients. They're touching the accounts just like you. The one that's a little bit more boutique and it's medical and dental. Life before Swiss Monkey, they were always in that like push-pull. We've grown just enough. Now it's time to bring on another team member. And they'd look at the numbers and they'd be like, no, we can't do it. They're like, there's never going to be someone that can do dental and the medical sleep side. Like it just doesn't exist. Well, enter the virtual assistant that Swiss Monkey has. She didn't come with a wealth of knowledge on that sleep side, but she's resourceful and she wants to learn. And so she's very quickly adapting and filling that need for both. They were in a weird push-pull and they finally have enough team members up front to really drive them towards their goals. They did not originally want a virtual model. That took a lot of convincing of us as coaches with that doctor because he literally doesn't have enough seats for these people to sit in. So it was like, you've grown, you need this other person, and yet like physically your space can't handle it. It wasn't in his vision initially. He did not want a virtual team member. He decided to hire this guy who comes in and is almost like a makeshift office manager. He comes in X amount of months, trains up the next person, and then he's out and he's on to the next practice. Well, as part of his team, he brought in this virtual person to do billing while he was doing some training so that the billing didn't stop. What ended up happening though was the breakdown in communication and the execution was definitely not there. So when we said, we really do think that you need a virtual person, let's talk about how different that could look. We had to walk him through how this wasn't going to be another painful experience. This was going to be a positive experience for him. And once we got to the underlying cause of what his real pain was, which was she's never working the hours we're working, it was like, great, we can absolutely get over that hurdle with you. In the 3 scenarios that I've given, the Swiss Monkey virtual team member has been different in each one. In the first one, the office that's on track to do 4.1 million, she is their new patient concierge, first on phones. She's doing all the new patient intake, and then she's funneling where people need to go if she can't help them. She can make a hygiene appointment. She can schedule a new patient. She can answer any questions they have up until it's going to be a treatment scheduling conversation or a money conversation. And so those are the 2 that she offloads to the right people. In the office where it is general dentistry and sleep dentistry, that team member has really sat in quite a few seats for them. She has been with them, I think, 1.5 years at this point, really embracing it like it's her own team. She is full time with them. The team member with the general and the sleep, she's, done like their insurance treatment, hygiene coordinating. They have grown and figured out how to work seamlessly with her. Her position has evolved with them because they've realized what they want in the office and then what they want on the virtual side. So she's sat in quite a few seats. And like I said, most recently, she is helping with coordination of benefits on the medical side, setting up patients with their sleep study, guiding them through the multiple appointments they'll have with the office. The third office, the one where the front office had retired and the doctor just bought it, she is part-time. The office is only open 4 days a week and they're in a ramp-up phase, so there's some slower days. On those slower days, she's really only putting in a few hours and the assistant is going back and forth to manage. The fact that Swiss Monkey comes with their own communication vessel and really outlines for you how you're going to be able to oversee what that person is doing through the technology, how you're going to be able to seamlessly communicate with this person through the technology. Both of those helped us overcome the hurdle because in the previous scenario, there was no technology. It was, let me just remote into the system and you can call me. If I'm remoting into the system at 2, 3 a.m. or, like 9 p.m., obviously I'm not going to call you. We're on different time schedules and I don't actually know if you're working or not. I think because that's built into the Swiss Monkey structure, that also helped the doctor quickly overcome any limiting belief he had. His office manager loves the end of day report. I appreciate that because as a coach, I'm looking at that as well. I want to know how many phone calls they made, who they scheduled, how much they collected. I find a lot of value in that report. And I've been able to coach his office manager on, are you seeing the ROI here? It was very easy to see that pattern and then help coach her on, okay, you're going to go to that team member and this is how the conversation is going to go. This is where you're asking for help. This is what support you need. This is what the check-ins are going to look like moving forward. So that piece of technology has not only benefited the practice, it's also benefited me as the coach in helping them communicate more seamlessly. Financially, I would say the impact has been there for all 3. First and foremost, they always look behind the scenes. How much money is going to go out of my pocket to bring this person on? It's been easier for them to bite off that investment and then see the return on investment once that person is trained and ramped up. It's another person on the phones. Every practice needs a healthy flow of new patients coming in. If your team in office is too busy and they constantly have someone in front of them, they're not answering the phones. Having that virtual team member who can always pick up that phone to capture a new patient, to collect a payment, financially, that is huge. You are seeing the return on investment there. Emotionally, the biggest emotional impact that I have seen is for the practice that has general and sleep. This doctor is an older doctor, but he's like 6'5", 6'6". When he hires someone, he takes it very personally. He was a little unsure of a virtual team member because it's not someone that he can tangibly interact with. He doesn't physically see that person every day. It was very clear from the beginning with the team member he hired that they connected. She did a great job of building rapport with him. She did a great job building rapport with the rest of the team. And I think a big part of why she's been able to fill that gap for general and sleep is because she is such a resourceful person, and she's a driver, and she's constantly asking great questions. And he feels very secure knowing that if he has to pull a front office team member to the back to help with sterilization, seat a patient, he has so much peace knowing that virtual team member is going to answer the phone or not going to let anything slip. Going even further, if he sees the same reports that I do at the end of the day, he can also rest assured that he's seeing the money come in. He knows what she's doing. That's just another trust factor emotionally for him. At some point, you have to ask, what do I have to lose? How much pain are you in right now? How much longer do you want to stay in that pain? The workforce wants it. Patients are fine with it. How much pain by not hiring this person?